Hello. Thank you for buying my new program, Mastering Purchase Business. The market has changed in the last couple years. Before, 80 to 90% of my business was refi-centric. Now, I've had to change around. I had to retool every single skill set I had to match this crazy marketplace. Actually, though, it's just a market that is correcting itself, and hopefully in the not so far future, it will be a corrected market that will be stronger in purchase-based money. Many of us for a long time kind of junked up the industry. A lot of people that should have sold a home they shouldn't have stayed in actually were able to refi out with abnormally low programs and hang on. So we actually in some ways distorted the market. And I'm not saying we're evil for doing so, we just simply sold what we had and we made a profit off of it, which is perfectly fine. In fact, they gave us incentives to do so. So guess what we did? We went ahead and sold it. Just like the option arm, we sold it. Interest-only loans, we sold them all day long. Zero down, any way you like it, sir. Hey, if you can get some gift money, we can give it to you for less than 0% down. You can actually just about get free money out of the deal from the other side. And these are all programs that had actually happened. However, life has changed. Sanity has come back into the marketplace, and we have to change with it. Now, many gurus and many trainers and many people like that have all these magical systems to get a realtor, and they're expensive. In fact, I bought a lot of them and I sat and listened to them, and a lot of them start to just repeat what the other ones are saying. Now, the disturbing thing for me is that a lot of these guys aren't actually in the business anymore. They haven't been in the business for a long time. What they're doing is they're taking general marketing principles, wrapping around some great nifty ideas into it, and saying this will work, without them actually doing it in their own business. That's pretty scary. Now, without going into the negative of all that, I want to just emphasize the fact that my biggest focus is on taking a realtor who is struggling right now in today's marketplace and helping them to turn around their pipeline within 4 to 6 weeks. Now, is that possible? Is it possible to start closing deals within 6 to 8 weeks? Is it possible to start cash flowing again so you can stop being a part-time loan officer, or you can be a loan officer who can pay your bills? My answer to that is yes. Now, here's the unpopular part of our programs. Our programs actually emphasize the word work, W-O-R-K. What I mean by that is going out there and hustling. Many people will sell you great direct mail systems that are magically going to get the realtors to beat down your door and say, oh, I want to do business with you. And people will have all these great techniques about how to go after for sale by owners or renters, but a lot of times those guys are just making money selling the lists. And I'm not saying list brokers are bad. I use list brokers myself for certain things, and there's a couple that I do trust. But for the most part, I call them product pimps. These are people that go out there and sell a program that they have never actually used themselves. I wanted to release this program a couple months ago, but I didn't feel comfortable doing so. What I actually did is I actually retooled my business, and I tried just about every single thing I could think of to try to generate purchase business. And what I found is after throwing everything against the wall, after about 4 or 5 months of hard work, and we're talking 60, 70-hour weeks of hard work, I found that a couple things worked extremely well, and many of the things in those books worked very little or not at all. In fact, they just were gimmicks. Gimmicks that would get people excited and buy a new program or buy a toll-free number or buy a new list, whatever. The thing is that our business is prospecting based, as it always was, as it always will be. Now, prospecting can be scary for some folks. I understand that. In fact, going out there and being told no, being rejected, being blown off, I understand that. But what you have to realize is that some people, the fact that they said no doesn't mean they're saying no to you as a person. It just means they're not in the market right now, or their motivation is insufficient at this moment to do business with you. So if you're going after a realtor, which we will talk about how to do that the proper way later on, if you are going after a realtor and they say, I already have a loan officer, don't shut down, put your thumb in your mouth, and back into a corner. That's not what you need to do. What you need to do is just realize that as of today, they're happy. However, if that loan officer blows the next deal, you might have a shot at them. And probably in a typical marketplace, there's anywhere between 1,000 to 4,000 realtors in a major metropolitan area. If you're in a smaller area, you might have 200 to 800 if you're way out there in the sticks. But for the most part, there's plenty of realtors. And out of that, really the only ones you want to deal with is probably the 10% that actually are active in the business, full-time in the business. So even here in Houston, there's probably only 500 realtors that I really want to play with. And out of that, I want about 30 or 40 of them. And out of that group, I'll probably make my money off about 10 of them. Wow. Out of several thousand realtors, that's the most I can do? Yep. That's probably what's honestly in the business today. A lot of the other ones are part-timers, soccer moms, and sure, they want all the freebies. They want me to work for them. They want me to do their job for them. But I'm not going to do that. I'm looking for professionals that I can work with. However, let's say that we're not yet comfortable with realtors, or let's say that we're not sure how to start that particular path of developing realtor business. How can we go out there and hustle up some business today? Well, I'm going to discuss several different ways that we can do that. And it's not as hard as you may think. And believe it or not, other than the price of this program, which at most I think will cost people $150 or less, the truth is that I can go out there today and I can hustle up a couple applications within about 2 days worth of work. And these are people who are selling their house, who are going to most likely walk away with equity, and who are going to have a high motivation to buy their next house. So we're not talking about apartment dwellers who are sitting on the fence, thinking about it and saving up money and scrimping money from mom and dad. These are people that have equity, that have money. And the approach I take is very aggressive. Okay, it's flat out not for everybody. But if your bill collectors are looking at you and you're getting the calls, or if you're wanting to just take your business to the next level, it's a great way to do it. And one of the things I always encourage folks to remember is this: it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And if I can go out there and prospect for pennies or even free, why wouldn't I want to do that? If I close $8,000 worth of business for the month, and my total expense for the month was less than $300, that's a profitable month. But if I close $15,000, and let's say I was doing a ton of direct mail, and my direct mail costs and all my business costs and my office costs were $11,000, well, now I've only netted $4,000. So it's not about how much you gross, how much you do, it's about how much you keep. And you can do fewer loans with less hassle, closing 3 to 7 loans a month, and live a comfortable upper middle class lifestyle, where if you want to go that extra step and work 70, 80 hours a week, you can do that and push yourself out to the next level. Or you can just be very, very happy driving a nice car, living in a beautiful house, it's probably nicer than the rest of your families, and going ahead and having a great life, which in my life, that is my goal right now. I don't care about living in a mansion. I just want to be comfortable, work a normal work week for the most part, and just enjoy life. Because quality of life, in some ways, is the reason we do this. Yes, sometimes we go through a phase where we get fixated on the money, but it's about quality of life. And if you go out there and prospect and you do it intelligently, not only can you make more money doing less deals because your base cost is lower, but you can go out there and get business now. You don't have to wait till the direct mail piece goes out and a couple weeks from now the phones may or may not ring, or you may or may not get a phone call from that great mass emailing campaign you do a bunch of realtors. A lot of that, I mean, it has its place, okay? And that's gravy on the potatoes. But if you really want to get out there and you want to get some business hustled up today, how do we do that? Well, I'm going to share with you the exact techniques to putting anywhere between 5 to 7 loans in your pipeline within the next couple weeks, and then closing out 4 to 5 of those within the next 6 weeks, so that if you've gone back to part-time status, or if you're struggling to rebuild your business in the wake of the collapse of the refinance market, I'm going to give you specific directions on how to do that. Follow my system. Use the scripts that I've laid out for you. I've tried them myself. I do them myself in my daily practice. And this isn't theory. This is stuff that I've done. And yes, there's been a lot of things that I've tried and they haven't worked. But these things have. So listen to what I'm going to share with you. Have an open mind and be willing to take a risk for a couple days and try these things out. And you'll be surprised at how quickly the business starts to come to you. So let's go on to our first unit. Starting without realtors at first.